Hi guys, Ben here from Velocity Personal Training Academy, and what we're going to run through today is how much rest that you need in between working sets. So we're going to be looking at resistance training here. Now this is a question that we get asked on our courses quite often, so we're just looking to go through this to clear things up a little bit. So initially what you're looking at is, to cut a long story short, the heavier you train, the more rest that you'll need. So typically what you'll find is if you're working with a light load, so light weights over high reps, you're going to look to need a shorter rest period. Now what's going to be resting in your body is typically your cardiovascular system, so your lungs, blood flow and things like that. So essentially the fitter that you are, the less time that you'll need to rest. Whereas if you're looking to train with heavier load, so really heavy weight over a shorter rep range, you're going to be looking at having a longer rest period. So things such as your central nervous system are going to take a little bit of a battering here, so it just takes a longer period of time for that to rest up. So now we're just going to have a quick look at some ACSM guidelines on hypertrophy, strength and endurance training. Right guys, so what we're going to have a quick look at is the ACSM guidelines. So what ACSM stands for is the American College of Sports Medicine, so a pretty reputable resource that we're looking at here. So if you have got a client that's wanting to train for strength reasons, so we're looking at them training at more than 85% of the 1 rep max. So typically if they bench press 100 kilos, you're looking at working 85 kilos and above on this, so quite high intensity. Now if you've got a client working at high intensity, they're going to be needing between 3 to 5 minutes worth of rest period in between sets, because with strength training it really takes it out in terms of your central nervous system, so you're needing that to recover there. So next, if we have a quick look at hypertrophy training for clients that are wanting to build muscle, you're going to be looking at working between 67 to 85% of the 1 rep max, and we're looking at rest periods between 1 to 2 minutes on this one. And then next, if you've got clients wanting to build up endurance, so looking to build up the muscular fitness and aerobic endurance with resistance, you're going to be looking at working below the 67% of the 1 rep max intensity. And with this, because you're working at a lower weight, you can then look to recover a little bit more quickly. So you're looking at 30 to 60 seconds in terms of rest periods there. So that being said, with what we've just had a look through, the ACSM guidelines is kind of saying that if you're working within the hypertrophy intensity range, you're going to need 1 to 2 minutes rest. Now, back in 2016, there's been a little bit of research done by Dr. Brad Schoenfeld. Now, this is in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research. I'll put the link down in the bio so you can have a little look at the abstract for this one. And typically what they did was they had 2 groups of trainers looking to gain hypertrophy, so train for hypertrophy. And one group were looking to do 1 minute's rest in between working sets, whereas the other group were looking to do 3 minutes rest between each working set, all within the hypertrophy guidelines in terms of intensity and rep ranges. Now what we found with this one was actually the 3 minutes resting group actually got better hypertrophy gains. Now kind of the new age style of hypertrophy coaching, you're looking at coaches saying to their clients that they're looking for that pump, they're looking for the high rep work, volume, blood flow into the muscle, because kind of the science behind that is that the more kind of metabolic damage that you do to the muscle, so the more lactate that you build up in it, the more muscle growth that you're going to look at. Now the good thing is with looking at this research that Schoenfeld has done, is that the 3 minute rest period allows you to train heavier, so load the bar more in terms of intensity for the working set. Thus, the more weight that you can move kind of shows that the more tissue is going to be there in terms of hypertrophy. And the research backs that up. So I'll put the link of this down in the bio, so if you just click on that and have a quick look at this research book for yourself, and then just kind of make your own minds up. Any more questions, just feel free to ask. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Instagram and also Twitter, and also subscribe to our channel for a little bit more information about anything health and fitness.